Okay, what's up everyone? Welcome back to my Dead Space Remake All Collectibles guide. Hoping you get 100% on the remake. We are on Chapter 4's first audio log. My volume is very loud. This one's called Bridge Attack. As you enter the bridge, a big meteor comes through the roof and it's just on your right. Next up we've got the first text log in this chapter. There are two in this room. This one's called Echart's Clearance. These two are right next to each other. There's one of them. And the second one is literally just next to it, right there. This is in the area where Isaac takes his helmet off and comes to talk to Hammond for a little bit. Kind of easy to recognize. Okay. I think this area is called the Captain's Nest. So, now in the same room, we can start the side mission, You Are Not Authorized. All you need to do here is interact with the panel. You should have already picked up one of the rigs if you've been following my guide. So, go and interact with that. Eventually it will say you are not authorized and it'll start the side mission. You need to get all of the rigs for that to work in the end, but you can start the side mission and track it from right there. So next up we've got a Missable mission log, and this is where you first have the fight with the brute in this mission. The first brute you fight in the game, in fact. Basically all you want to do is run away from it and not shoot it at all. Then eventually Hammond will sort of talk to Isaac and say you need to shoot it in the back or something like that, and that gets you an extra log. Like I've mentioned before, some of the logs in the game, well, a lot of them actually, are just given to you through dialogue with NPCs. So you can look at your log list in the inventory sort of section. You press tab or start probably on console and head over to the right, and you can see the list of logs that you've got. And yeah, you might notice that some of those are missing, and some of them are because you only get them if you do certain things throughout the mission. Also, there's a node you get off that brute. Again, it's difficult to miss, but worth mentioning if you're trying to get the Upgrade Everything achievement. Next up is the video log Captain's Fate. This one can be found just behind the switch we need to press to turn on the elevator. So we've got another node coming up, and we're going through the elevator that's closest to the door that the brute breaks through. There are two elevators in this room. This one's got 3 floors to it. You want to go to floor 2 to find this node. These elevator rides can be a little bit tedious. Yeah, if you've looked through your logs and you've noticed that you're missing a couple, it might just be that you haven't got a couple of those missable ones. There's also a couple of logs throughout the game you're kind of forced to miss and you have to do on New Game Plus, but I will mention all of those and show them all. Right, so here's your node in this room, just after the hole gets breached. So now we've got the first weapon in this chapter, the contact beam, coming back out of this room where we just collected that node. Come down here, and it's in this room right here. You will need clearance level 2 to get in this room, and then you can get the contact beam. One of my personal favorite weapons in the game. You get this fully upgraded, or just upgraded even a little and use the secondary fire. It's super powerful. Very good weapon. Alright, next we've got text log number 3. That's called Tracking Infection. And going into the administration area here, you'll have a couple of necromorphs lurking around in front of you. Make short work of them, and there's a couple of rooms we can get into in this area. So head over to the one on the left first, open it up with security clearance level 2. You need to break the sort of electronic lock there, the power lock, whatever you want to call it, and then head into server maintenance, which is over on the left side. You can't get in here until you've broken that lock, and again you'll need security clearance to get in here, which you should have by now. And the text log is just on the table in the room, and there's also a node in this room. If you're using timestamps to jump to this node, you might want to just drop back one collectible and watch the way in case you're confused as to where you are. We'll show the map again quickly there though, just in case. So now we have another Missable mission log. So these 3 are dependent on the order that you do these objectives in. Most people will probably do what the tracker tells them to do. So they'll do this one first, and I think I think it might be the water filtration last. And you don't need to get all of these logs to get your trophy or achievement, but essentially once you turn off the power in this room, Hammond talks to you and says, oh, that's the power rerouted, and there are 3 of those throughout this level. You have to do 3 different things like that, and you can only possibly get 2 of them in each run of the game. So try to take a look at which ones you get if you are kind of a bit of a completionist and you just want to get all of the logs. You don't need to do that for an achievement or a trophy like I mentioned before, but if you just want the list of logs complete, then you're going to have to do them in a different order on your second playthrough. But that's entirely up to you. You might just care about the achievement or trophy, which I guess most people will care about more than just completing their list. So next up we've got the break room.
What's that? A recording?
Some of you might be familiar with the Easter egg in this room, which I will include.
That marker, that's the symbol of the Church of Unitology.
Didn't take you for a believer, Isaac.
My mother was. But if they found this on some alien planet, what is
Also an interesting bit of
That
lore
Unitology's onto something?
that Isaac talks about here with his mother. So yeah, just in this room you get that audio log just from going in there, but there's more to that room, so if you come back in, I'm sort of just showing outside of the room just in case anyone's using timestamps. We are still in the break room. You can find the Unitology article just on the side in that room. Okay, so for these next 2 nodes, again, we're in the break room. You need to stand inside the circle that's in the room and follow this pattern. We need to melee, melee, stomp, and then melee, melee, stomp, stomp, and then melee, 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 and then stomp, stomp. So yeah, if you just want to follow what's on the top of my screen, M equals melee, S equals stomp, quite straightforward. But doing that pattern will get you 2 nodes, which is kind of nice if you're going for all of those upgrades. And there are 2 more logs you can get in this room from also following patterns like this. All of those patterns are on the top of the screen. This one is melee, stomp, 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 melee, stomp, melee, stomp, 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 melee, stomp. But yeah, this one will give you a text log, and there's another one that gives you an audio log. These, I believe, don't show up in your log list, and I'm not sure if they count towards your achievement. I'm assuming they do, because they are logs. It would make sense that they count towards the achievement, but either way, I thought I'd include them just because it's kind of cool. Little Easter egg that you get in this room for getting these. So for this one, we need to do melee, stomp, melee, melee, stomp, melee, stomp, melee, 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 stomp. Kind of feels weird saying that stuff, but yeah, do that and you'll get the Easter egg audio log, which is like the little sea shanty. It's a parody of the song Wellerman, which is pretty cool. It's actually a lot longer than what I show in this video, but just wanted to show you guys how to get it. Alright, so the marker fragment of this chapter is also in the break room, just next to the screen. You can only get that on New Game Plus, remember. So if you're just playing on your first playthrough on a save, that marker fragment won't be there. Okay, so we got the first upgrade that we can get in this mission, which is for the pulse rifle, the PCSI custom mag. We need to move this stuff out of the way of the window and then shoot the power lock. And then we can come around, open up the door, get in and grab the upgrade, which is just there. So next up we've got another node. This is in the room with the panels that can electrocute you. An interesting change on the remake here. There used to be gravity panels that would shoot you up into the ceiling if you stepped on them, and this one they sort of just electrocute you and they won't kill you. They used to kill you in 1 on the original game, and I guess that's why they changed it. Okay, so all the way through, look out for the enemies. There'll be 2 lurkers around that corner, but you'll also get 1 slasher sort of lurking up behind you. So be ready for him, take him out, and then continue on. You don't want to be fighting the brute and have that guy come behind you, causing you problems. Here's the 2 lurkers. I could have just showed this clip with me just being in the room with the brute, but I thought I'd just show it all, just in case there's any confusion as to where you are. This kind of gives you a good idea of where this is. If you've already played through the game once, you should remember this room, probably. Alright, so let's get rid of the brute, grab the node off him. Easy nodes. Okay, so we've got another missable mission log. This one is called Watch the Outlets, and again, the only reason this is missable is because you can do these in any order you want, and if you do this one last, you basically won't get this next log. Most people will do them in the order that I'm showing them, as in this one would be the second one. But yeah, if you do want to complete that log list, just make sure you do these objectives in a different order. You can go to them whenever you want, but the tracker will tell you to do them in this order. So yeah, go ahead and do them in a different order if you just want to complete the log list. Not necessary for achievements and trophies. I know I'm repeating myself, but I can guarantee someone will be asking questions in the comment section like 3 years down the line about this, and I'll do my best just to keep mentioning it. So next up, we've got another weapon upgrade for the contact beam. This one's called the Supersymmetry Tether. You find this one in the shop after you've picked up the contact beam. You will have to pay for it. Okay, another audio log. This one's called Looking for Elizabeth. We are using, I think this is the other elevator to the one we originally took. And this audio log is just sitting on the floor at the bottom of our elevator right here. Hey, you know you're in the right place because you get that guy standing there. Say, make us whole again, who mysteriously disappears. Creepy dude. Alright, so here is the last missable mission log. And yeah, so this one is probably the one most people will be missing if they've just followed the tracker. Like I mentioned before, if you want to get this log, you'll need to complete the objectives in a different order. When I show the log list at the end, you guys might understand a little bit. It'll say, oh, I have one log not found, and that is because of this log, or at least one of these. And it will probably be the same for most people. If you feel like you've been really thorough, but you've missed a log somehow, this is probably what it is on this chapter. You can feel free to have a look through my log list at the end of this video and see if it's a particular one you're missing, but it's more than likely this one if you're missing just one. There you go. That log will only play if you do that objective first or second. Okay, so next up we've got a schematic, which is for the intermediate engineer rig. This one is in the EVA prep room right there. Any confusion as to where this is, just drop it back a little bit and check the map. It does tell you the floor and the location as well. Next up we've got an audio log. This one is for a side mission called Hold On. Well, no, I think the audio log is called Hold On. One thing I probably haven't mentioned yet is the side mission audio logs are actually listed separately from the normal log list. But there we go, it's just that security box on the wall. So next up we're going to get White's rig. You are not authorized, which is another side mission. This one is out with the ADS cannons. You're going to need to go ahead and make sure that you've taken control of all the ADS cannons and sync them all up, all that good stuff. So I'm just going to show all of that now. You may have already done this, in which case just head all the way to the end. It's literally just past the third ADS cannon control panel. But I'll go ahead and show all of this just so there's no confusion. Also, if you are doing this the same as me, as in you've got to get these cannons done, look out for the 2 lurkers that jump out. Actually got smacked by a meteor. That's just how much of a Chad Isaac is, mate. A meteor hits him in the face and he just keeps on going. Right. Sync up this cannon. You need to do this 5 times. I actually like what they did with this section. I know some people are super purist and they want exactly what was in the original game put into the remake, and I understand that. But I kind of like what they did with this section. I'm actually happy with it. It's a small change, doesn't really take away any time or anything like that. It's probably about the same amount of time you would spend on the previous game section, so it's nice. It's a cool little idea they've done. Right, so this is the last cannon that we've got to sync. Let's get that done. And the rig, White's rig, it's just past it on the left right here with these floating bodies. Go ahead and grab that. And that's it. That is the last one for this chapter. We'll have a little look through the logs. If you want to slow down the speed of this, I understand, but either way, I hope this guide helped you get all of your collectibles for Chapter 3. Thank you very much for watching. I'll have the other chapters coming soon. I've also got Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 up. If you want to go and look at those, there'll be a playlist around somewhere. Again, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and until next time, take it easy.